Okay, today I'll be turning a raster image into a vector image and then into a 3D model using Krita, Inkscape, and Blender. And then I'll use Meshlab to open the exported STL file and take a look at it. All of these programs I'm using are free and links are in the description below. To get started, I'm going to open my image in Krita. In order to use this image, I need the text to be white and the rest of the image to be black. So we've already got white text, so I'm going to grab the contiguous selection tool and click on the tan colored area to create a selection. Next, I'm going to grab the paint bucket tool, make sure my color is set to black, and then click anywhere inside the selection to fill it with the black color. Now to get rid of the selection, hold down Control and Shift and hit A. And now you see we have this white border around the outside that we need to get rid of. So I'm going to switch to the paintbrush tool. The color is still set to black, and now I can paint out the white border. Now with that done, just need to do a save as to PNG format, and I'm going to change the file name and save. These options are all fine, so click OK. And that's it for Krita. Now I'm going to move on to Inkscape. When you load an image in Inkscape, you'll get this import pop-up. I choose the Smooth Optimized Quality option and click OK. Now, in order for the following steps to work, you need to click on the image to select it, and then go to the Path menu, Trace Bitmap. You can leave all these options as they are, and click Apply. Now just do a file, save as, SVG format. You want to choose the plain SVG and click Save. And that's it for Inkscape. You can move on to Blender now. Okay, the first thing I want to do is get rid of the cube, camera, and light. So if I hit A, that'll select everything, then X and delete. Now I want to change my units. So if I come over here to the Scene Properties tab, open up the Units panel, you can see the blender is set to metric and meters. I like working in imperial and feet, but for this small model, I'm going to select inches. Next, I'll switch to top view by clicking the blue Z on the gizmo up here in the corner. This will allow me to see all the grid lines, which I'll need for the next step. Now I can import the SVG file. So from the File menu, Import, select Scalable Vector Graphics. Now you can browse for your file, select it, and import SVG. This will drop it in here at 00 in the viewport. It's a little big, so I'm going to resize it slightly. Click on the graphic to select it, then hit S and drag your mouse to increase or decrease the size. I'm going to drag mine down and make it about 12 inches long on the X-axis using my grid lines for reference, and then left click to stop scaling. Now, one thing you need to be aware of is that anytime you scale an object, Blender remembers the scale factor. As you can see, if you hit N on your keyboard, or come up to this little arrow in the corner to open the sidebar, And you can see that the X, Y, and Z scale values are not 1. This can be an issue as you move forward and continue working. So every time you scale an object, it's a good idea to come over here to Object, Apply, Scale, or you can hit Control A and apply scale. And now you can see that all the values are back to 1. Okay, I don't like this dark color, so with the graphics selected, I'm going to come over here to the Material Properties panel, click on the base color, and drag this slider up into the white area to make it a sort of a light gray color. Now we can give the model a thickness so it can be 3D printed. In the Object Data Properties panel, Geometry section, you can set the extrude parameter to whatever thickness you want. But keep in mind that this will extrude in both directions at the same time, positive and negative. So you need to divide the total thickness in half and put that in the extrude parameter. I want the total thickness to be 1/8 of an inch. So if I put 0.062 in the extrude parameter, that should get me what I want. Except when I look at the Z dimension up here, it's not 0.125. So in order to get the thickness you want, you have to play around with the extrude parameter and see what works. I don't know why it does this, but as long as you pay attention to the item list dimensions, you should be okay. If anyone knows why the extrude parameter is doing this, I would love to know. But let's see, 0.093. Okay, 0.093 will give me a dimension of 0.126. So I guess I'll go with that. Now, if you zoom in, you can see in some areas there are some bumps and minor kinks and things in some areas. And depending on how much time you want to spend on this, you could go into edit mode and grab the move tool, and you can play around with the curve handles and smooth everything out and make it look perfect. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to say that this is good, and I'm going to move on to the last step. With the stencil selected, go to the File menu, Export, and choose STL format. You can leave these default settings as they are and export STL. Desktop. And that's it. You should now have an STL file suitable for 3D printing. I don't have a printer, so I can't get into any aspects of that process, but I can open Meshlab and take a look at the exported STL file. So I'll do that now. Okay, to bring in your file, simply go to File, Import Mesh, and browse to the location of your STL. You'll get this warning about duplicated vertices, but just click OK. And now you can spin around, take a look at it, and make sure it looks okay, which it should. Okay, that's it for this one. Pretty simple, I think. But if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them in the comments below, and I'll try to get back to you if I can. And as always, if you found this video helpful, give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.